Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nate G. It is Friday, May 30th, and we're going to do some scanning using SAM and see if we can't find some setups for this upcoming week. Because it's Friday today, close to the end of the market, close on Friday, and next week we have a full week, and we want to be prepared and catch those pullbacks in the market that give us good risk reward entries. So let's get started. One of the things that I'm in right now, still in, is this eBay. We picked this thing up off the point of control yesterday, and it's one of the names that's just sort of creeping up slowly, but I'm a pretty big fan of this eBay chart. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. I want to turn that off. I like this ascending triangle that it's forming, and now it's breaking out as I talk about it right now. But this was originally a 30-minute eBay. What I do need to do here is I do need to close that, and then I need to make sure we get the Squeeze Pro. Let's see, where is it? No, that's not it. SQ, there it is. Let's get the squeeze on here. This used to be a 30-minute chart. Now it's a squeeze in a 65 and a 78 and a 130 and starting a 195. Are we in a daily yet? Oh, we are in a daily squeeze. Look at that. So eBay looks great. This is its daily chart. If you're not already in this, it's probably not in a great spot to pick it up anew. But it's shown that it likes to pull back in the mornings. As you can see, here we go to a 30-minute chart, right? We've gotten, this is our point of control here at 72.19. We're breaking up through what was our value area high at 72.95 and a value area low, which was at 71.56, which is a nice support level if we get a pullback into there. So if you're not already in this, you can see it's given us a number of pullbacks here into point of control. That was yesterday. Here into this ascending triangle support level in the morning, and this continued to push up. Pretty much gave us another entry here about an hour or so ago. And I really like this chart for a push kind of up into this $74 level if it wants to give us that. But if you're not already in it, I would set an alert in and around sort of this 72.50 area, maybe 72.30s, to see if there is a pullback that is going to give us a good entry. Right? Oh, is Netflix running right now? Yeah, a lot of names that we were playing earlier in the week are pretty well busted. But this is a good trade setup here on eBay. And if I was playing this for, right now I'm in next week's options. And if it got a pullback, a quick pullback, I would probably buy next week's options as well on Monday. If it got further into the week, I would buy a full week further out than that, right? I was looking at this Adobe chart, which looked kind of interesting. It's a little choppy, but it's kind of forming this flag that we typically look for. So Adobe is another possible, but I'm not going to set up a trade plan on that. I'm going to pull up SAM, and we're just going to go scan for these setups. So hold on, let me pull SAM up. Okay. Pull SAM over here. I'm going to sort by 30-minute squeezes as I like to do, and then what I like to do is see do we have squeeze setups coming off that, right? So we have JPM, and we can just pop open JPM on the 30-minute just from right here and see if that's something we're going to like. That's pretty interesting. So I'm going to look at that on actual trading view when we get there. But I'm going to keep going down the list of names here. WMT looks interesting. Yep, so I'm going to take a look at WMT. As you can hear me throwing my pen down each time. We only have single squeezes here. Let's see, PWR. Looks very similar. That's a daily. PWR 30-minute. That looks pretty interesting. Okay, I'm going to write that one down. Let's see if we can see anything else with sort of multiple. This is L. What does L stand for? I can never remember. I don't know that I love L here. Although that daily is pretty interesting. All right, we're going to take a look at L. And if anybody else has charts that kind of fit this 30, 78 minute squeeze, then go ahead and put them here in chat. You like ELF? All right, I'll take a look at ELF here in just a second. HIG, Lin. No, I don't think I'm going to like that one. Let's see. HIG. I know I'm going to like HIG, so we're going to look at that. That takes no time. Just looking at the structure of this right here, I mean, even though we're looking at a 30-minute, it's a 30-minute squeeze, but then we're looking at a daily chart, I can tell that I'm going to like that a lot just by looking at it, even though it's not in a daily squeeze. Okay, let's see. We'll make ourselves a little plan here on a couple of these. CCL. Oh, what just happened? CCL. I don't like that it's coming in from lower. We're going to hold on that. We already did Lin. We already did HIG. Whoa. Oh, here's eBay. Look at all these squeezes on eBay right here. So we're already in that one. We already know we like that one. Let's look at EXR. Ooh. That is pretty interesting. Okay, we're going to look at EXR. We'll choose like 4 of these to make a plan on, and I'll get to ELF here in a second. Let's see, EXR, IRM. Yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone for a minute. Let's see what else we've got. United Airlines, 1 hour and 30-minute. That's interesting. The airlines are getting a little juice at the moment. All right, let's see if we can find anything in like the 78-minute time frame that we aren't already looking at. Here's eBay up here, pretty strong. Roll. That looks a little top heavy. I'm going to hold on that. Adobe I mentioned earlier. That one looks pretty good. Did I put HCA on the list? HCA looks kind of interesting. we'll have to see if any of these have, viable options, because we don't necessarily know that yet. Did I look at CAH already? I think I did. Did I look at that yet? If I didn't, I'm gonna. Looks like it's ready to kind of go now. I think I didn't like it a second ago, if I remember that correctly. CMA. Let's see what else. There's L, and then I want to look at ELF here in a second. Let's look at the NASDAQ. See what we've got. Look at some 30 minutes. Not a lot there. Look at some 78 minutes. There's Adobe. Anything on the 1 hour? There's Adobe. Microsoft. Yeah, let's take a look at Microsoft. Oof, that's high and tight. I'm going to like that one. So we'll put Microsoft on the list. MSFT. Let's see what else. Anything in here? And then I'm going to put ELF because Patrick says it's good. And we trust Patrick. All right, let's see what else here. Anything in my watch list? eBay. Yeah, eBay's the strongest. Oh, PLTR. I know that's going to look great. Yep. PLTR. There's Microsoft. Did you lose sound? Can you all hear me? Mic seems like it's working. You want me to raise my sound? You want me to eat the mic? Is that better? I just changed the gain on my sound. Is that any better? You can also change the volume on your computer if I'm too faint. Okay. AMSC. Let's see. I'm going to leave that one alone. We have a bunch of names to go through here. All right, so flip Sam out here. You're all the way up. Well, how about like where the volume thing is right next to the video? Is that one all the way up too? Right down here when I toggle that thing on and off. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I can change the gain on my mic and that will help just a little bit. So then I have another scanner which has a couple of 30-minute squeezes on it. So let's just kind of go through that and see what comes up. No, I don't like that one. BA is kind of interesting. Ooh, man, that is a big daily order block sitting up there, isn't it? All right, I'm gonna stay away from BA for right now. Let's get rid of these for the time being. Let's go BLK. BSX, that one's usually sets up nice. Oh, that's interesting. Also coming down into this gap up anchored VWAP. So that's kind of interesting, and that's near all-time highs. So we'll put BSX on the list. And then we'll go mark these guys up. Let's see, cat, no, CRWD, dash is maybe interesting on like a 78. I don't like that. See, on this setup, I don't like that this has made a higher high right here and made a little breakout and then failed. That makes me a little uncomfortable. All right, let's see what else we got here. DG, no, DIA, DLR. DLR on like a 30 might look kind of nice. Let's see. DPZ. Whoops. Nope. Don't care for that one. We already know we like eBay. Here's Elf. We were talking about that. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Definitely like Elf. I already have some markings on that, so that should be good. So we'll talk about that one. Let's see, what else do we need? GE. Yeah, GE is moving. We'll see if that one gives us a pullback, maybe. I mean, we've got almost 20 names that we kind of like. JPM. Zoom out just a little bit. MMM. No. We already have Microsoft. Do we like now? No. On. It's okay. Snow. Yuri. Snow looks toppy. Yuri's interesting, kind of. And then WPM, and then we'll stop there. Wheaton Precious Metals Group. That's kind of interesting. Right under all-time, it looks like all-time highs, forming this ascending triangle. Do we think it has WPM? Whoops. WPM. Decent options. Yeah, it's okay. Interesting. Doesn't look like the ATR on this is super big. That's kind of interesting. And then we get ourselves a little... All right. Well, let's start with the good ones, the really good ones. So let's go mark up ELF. All right, and let's start from scratch. So we've got this nice 30-minute squeeze. Here, I'll put it on ELF. Okay, so definitely we're going to mark up ELF. And then we definitely have eBay. So we'll get like 5, and then I'll share the marked up charts with you if you have TradingView. And we'll maybe put a plan on each one. So we're in a 30-minute squeeze here. We're also in a 15-minute momentum shifting up. So I'm going to get our point of control being here at 112, basically, is the point of control. I'm going to put the value area low at 109.77. And then we kind of have a value area high here at 115.77. So $4. And then we have, did y'all drop my screen? Or was that just me on my end? Lost everything? Yeah, so did I. That was weird. Even my screen dropped. So I don't know what happened. But I don't know where it left off here, but value area high at 115.77. So exactly $4. And then this spike high, I'm going to put this spike high, even though the true spike high is at 120.70, I'm going to put my first profit target right at 120 because it's a nice round number. Whoops. That's supposed to be green for profit target. And then we can do one of these bad boys. And we'll go 124. Let's just call it 125. We'll go some nice round numbers. Isn't that interesting? 124 even. All right, we'll call it 124 even. So those are my profit targets to the upside. And if I can get something off of the point of control here at 111, that means that we would have, at least to our first profit target, we would have a risk reward of 1 to 3.5 or better, which I like a lot. So just above at about 112, I'm going to set an alert to be notified when it comes down into this point of control level, because that's where I'm going to risk off of. And if I put in ELF into my option contracts, if we get that pullback sometime before the close and or on Monday, I will probably, you could, an aggressive play could be, see if my text works this time. Remember it wasn't working that one time? Get June, no, it's working, great. I don't know why it's italicized, but we'll go with it. June 6th calls, might be like, grab the 113s. The C goes after the 113, not after the date. There we go. June 6th, 113 calls. What are they at? The 113s are at about 360 at the moment, but they'll probably be less than that if we get a pullback. So let's just say at 350. And then a more aggressive, a less aggressive would be June 13. You could do the 114 calls. This would be at about 450 at that point, roughly, thereabouts. Okay. And that's if we get a pullback into POC. Initial entry. Okay. We'll do this as target 1. And we'll do this at target 2. Okay, so any questions on that markup? Amy, let me answer that question here in just a second. Um, okay, so there's the ELF markup and plan. Would anybody like this chart? There you go. T-Hawk, it probably depends on what options you have. If you have options expiring this week and you bought them prior to the earnings, you're gonna get crushed on the earnings IV flush and then theta. So that could explain that a little bit. Earnings and I think there was a Haley Bieber announcement, could have pushed up the implied volatility in this name, and then that's coming out a little bit when that announcement happened and the earnings, and so the value is sinking even though the name is up a little bit. Oh, all right. Well, if you have next week's June's, I mean, there's a lot of things that uh, there's a lot of factors that are priced into options and cause options to fluctuate. So it's really not making that dramatic of a move. And I don't know if you're in the money or you're out of the money. Um, so you just kind of got to let those, sort of play out. I would think it would be, yeah, it would have flushed out yesterday, but I think that announcement was also yesterday, so people were buying in. If I got that right, I just saw a headline. I didn't read much into it. I didn't read much of it, but it would affect the price. Okay, so we've got Elf. Let's do eBay. So eBay's pushing up here, right? This for me would be a wait and see. If we can get what I'd really like to see is, if I was not already in this, I'd like to see a pullback to the 72.20 area. Right now I'm targeting 74. Okay. So, and you can do this on names that, like, let's say Nate makes a recommendation or gets into something and you can't get into it right away or whatever. A lot of times you'll get a nice pullback entry option if you come in and you mark up your charts and you know where you'd like to get into this. Um, it'll move up a little bit. It'll look like, oh, I can't get in that. But then if you wait a day or that afternoon, you're going to get a pullback. My two spots I would want to take a shot on this are, one, if I got a pullback to that trend line. And then two, if I got now there's going to be three. So that would be one. This would be two, right? And if you really liked this, at some point, it's going to make a small pullback to this breakout level and potentially bounce, right? For a further move up. It's not just going to break out and just go straight like that, right? So there's kind of three ways to plan. This is the if then statements that we talk about, okay? So the first one would be, if this pulls back into 72.95 and holds, I'm going to try and pick it up there. Okay, if it doesn't and I stop out, my next area that I can look at for some support is this trend line, right? So this would be one, right? This one would be 2. If eBay was something you really wanted to play, you like the chart, you think it's going higher, this would be 3. And then finally you could say, all right, well, also, if for whatever reason it comes down into that support level, this could be 4, right? So you have, so then your if-then statements could be something like this. All right, we'll type this up. Is this helpful, or does this not make? Am I just making it more confusing? Right, you go 1. If retest. Oh, can't even spell. If retest of breakout. Look for bounce. Okay, and these all require, a stop out, because if it doesn't give you what you're looking for, and then so you go, if you 2, if retest fails and reclaims, which means reclaims the pattern, look for support at trend line. Okay, then 3 is if trend line breaks down, look for support, look for entry at POC. And then 4, if price comes into value area low support, good RR area, for a bounce, right? So you have a number of different ways you can play this. Now, the problem is a lot of people would say, okay, well, I tried it here and the bounce didn't happen, so I held. And then I held and I was going to add here, and then that didn't happen, so then I'm holding now and I'm down a whole, 30, 40%. And now I'm going to try it here and then down to here, and it's like, oh God, I'm down, 70, 80%. I'm just going to cut it, and then this is where you get the huge bounce, right? And so knowing where these lines are on the chart, you can say, okay, I'm going to try it here. Okay, well, that failed. I stopped out, right? I'm watching this area here to see if it's gonna hold, and if it is, I'm going to take a bounce off of that. And if that fails, it's a quick stop out, right? You're trying it here off of POC, and this is where you can say, okay, I'm going to take, half a position here, and if it bounces and goes, fine, but it leaves me room to add down into here. So I'm not full positioned until I'm, down into this support level. That's when it's the safest place to take the bounce, because it's a visible support level, a proven support level, and anything below that is just a stop out, right? And so being able to write up these if then statements, and knowing what you'd like to do for each one is really important, right? And so if this went into next week, I would probably be looking in all of these cases at something, like as a June 13th at the money call, right? To give myself time to let it develop. Maybe if I was taking a quick bounce off of the value area high here, what was resistance becomes support. Maybe for one, I'm taking one for next week. So basically, the way I would do that is, no, I'm going to do this. I would say for for these three, I'm taking June's 13ths, and for, see if I can get a, well, let's just do this. And then for this one, nope. I'm taking the June 6th. At the money calls. Does that make sense? Any questions there? Should I make these slightly different color? We'll make those blue, like that, so that they stand out a little bit more. All right, does anybody want that chart? I'll give it to you anyway. It's Friday and everybody's out of here, so this is the eBay chart markup. All right, so you have all the levels there. The earlier chart, you mean ELF? Run race? Oh, that's weird. Ah, that's why. So what I should have done was gone like that. And then like that. So it stayed on the chart. Yeah, so ELF, I shared ELF above. If you want, you can just load that chart, unless you don't have Trading View. Even when you click on the ELF chart, it goes to eBay? That's weird. So what if I go, oh, I'm sending you the chart layout. Sorry, let me do this again. Let me go ELF chart layout. I think I have to do it differently. I'm sorry. Let's do, you want a link? I wonder if it's not going to give you the whole, oh, that's interesting. Let's try this. Let's copy a link. Let's see. So that's ELF. All right, so that gives you the PPH, and then I go to eBay, and I go copy link. Is it the same? No. Okay. eBay. That's how I need to do it. Chart layout. Can't spell, but so try that. Let's see if that works a little bit better. What's up, Coach? All right, so let's find one more that we like. I did kind of like Adobe. A little chopped up. Let's see. PLTR. Let's get to a 30-minute. Let's see. Let's try everything we had. BSX. That one was just okay. Did I like GE? Oof. GE's looking like a beast. Whoa. Let's see what else we have. MSFT. Microsoft looks fine. JPM. Let's just pick one more. WMT. Whoops. We kind of liked L, didn't we? If we go like 78. Let's go GE. That's just too damn pretty. So pretty. Let's make sure options are good. The criteria for drawing the value area support line, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic. The criteria is that it is a value area support level, and so that is defined by the bottom of these nodes. So you see, here's a big node where we have a point of control out here, and we have kind of a clear top and a clear bottom, right? So the bottom is the value area low, the top is the value area high. Now you can start to refine those by also finding that area on the chart itself, right? So as you can see, where my cursor currently lies on GE, I'll make it a little bit bigger so it's a little bit easier to see, right? Where the dotted line is that I'm forming here, you can see that if I draw a line right there, it is the bottom of both of these this double bottom here, right? It kind of gets cut by this little breakdown and pop, but it is the value area low for this pattern that we're looking at, right? And this volume profile. You could, in this case, this was kind of unique. You could say, okay, there's probably a last ditch stomp out effort, maybe right there, right? Where this bounced. But for this pattern, the value area low sits right here, okay? So then in return to that, the value area high sits right there, okay? Not up here where we've popped up, because what we've got is this point of resistance here, the tops of these full candles, another one here, right? This is just a false breakout to me, right? And this here is a false breakdown. And usually you get one followed by the other. So that, and I'm going to change this bottom sort of last ditch effort to a red, just so it's usually my yellows are my value area high and my value area low. Right? So I hope that helps. Does that make sense, expansion? And then I'm going to put my point of control level right there. And I'm looking for, and then we've got this spike high that we're kind of bumping up against. This is almost like this additional spike low, right? And we can put another level right there. So if I like GE, I don't want to get in GE right now. I want GE to come back down into a level where I have a good risk reward, right? Because if I buy it here, up here, and it fails, then where are my points in which I'm going to decide that this pattern has broken down, right? Is that really way down here? Well, if that's the case, then I need this thing to go to, 300 for this to be a good risk reward style of trade. Yes, I'm recording, Fog. So I'm marking this up knowing that this could be the top today, right? And what I need to do is understand where I'm willing to try and buy this, where I have a good level to risk off of. Okay, and so this is going to be a lot like eBay. As you see, we're pushing up. The places I'm willing to take this are, here, if we come back to a retest of that breakout level, right? I'm willing to take one here off of the point of control, and I'm willing to take one here off of the value area low support level. Those are the three areas in which I'm willing to try and take a shot. And for the same reasons we wrote that if-then statement for eBay, right? So I don't want to be in this yet, but I want to set alerts. And what we didn't do on eBay, by the way, is we didn't set alerts. We have an alert on ELF, but we don't have an alert on eBay. So you could set alerts at all of these levels, right? At this 72.95, this is more, that would be more of a day trade, so you'd be watching for that. But then you're looking at like this 72.60 area to see if you get a touch there. You're looking at 72.20 to see if you get a touch there, or you come down into that area. And then again on 71.60. So you can set alerts at all those areas, or you can just have this up in another window so that you can follow it. But this is going to be the same idea for GE. Now GE just is going to push, right? And we might mark this chart up, and GE never gives us a chance to get in, right? So there's area 1. This would be area 2, and down here would be area 3. Right? Whoops, that's not a 2, that's a 3. There we go. Right? And this is the same kind of idea, is that off of these areas, I'm willing to take shorter dated option off of this area, slightly longer dated option off of these two areas here. Right? So if we were to write our if-then statement, come down here, let's get rid of the drawings. We'll finish this and I'll share it, and then I have to jump off. So let's make this yellow like we just did. So number 1, if breakout retests value area high, day trade, the retest area, and that's basically 25.41, right? If a reclaim happens, which means it reclaims the pattern, comes back into value area, in between value area high and low. Next point is point of control at 244.15. And then 3 is if value area low reached, great RR spot to take an entry. Okay? And from there, I would be doing the same thing. I would, as eBay, I would be, for these two, I'm going to say, I'm looking at, let's look at the options here on GE. I'd be looking at like the 250 Cs for June 13th. Oh, I don't know why that didn't happen. There we go. And then for this one, breakout, I'd be looking at the maybe the 250s again, slightly out of the money, for June 6th. Right? So we'd have for these two, for 2 and 3, we'd be looking at that. And for 1, right, we're looking at a shorter dated, right? So there's our option possibilities based on our if-then statements of what our plan will be when this comes into these areas. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay, I'm going to share this chart as well. I think I'm going to do it like this because I think that will work. GE chart markup. Okay, so we've got 3 charts we marked up with a plan for next week. Does anybody have any questions on those before I jump off? I'm going to post this up to YouTube as well once we get off, in case anybody wants to rewatch it. And that should be that. All right, I will chat with everyone next week. Oh, yeah, great point. Targets for GE. So let's do this pullback here. Target number 1. That was moving too fast. Let's make this green too. I'll reshare the. If somebody has the GE chart up from the shared with all this stuff on them, will you tell me? Did I just the target number 1? Does that now show up on your chart, or do I have to reshare it? Like, is it an active live chart? Well, what did I just do? Does it change when I change? Oh, so it added it. Excellent. No, it doesn't work. Okay, I'll reshare then. Revised GE chart. And it just gives you a pick. Yeah. I thought I could share it with all the lines on it, and you could load those lines up onto your charts. But I don't think it's going to work that way. But this is a good habit to get into, and that's drawing your own charts, right? Okay, y'all, have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you all on Monday.